Welcome back to the Red Pill Cartel. Oh my gosh, I finally have the two hosts of Firmamental, Alex Paul and Raul Hilliard. How are you guys?
We're good, brother. Thank you for having us. It has been a long time coming. We've been going back and forth for quite some time now. I know we
Yeah,
got our boy Snake Turban Head has been telling us for months, if not the past year, that we need to make this happen. So, Snake, here you go. We're live and ready to rock and roll. Thank you for having us, Davey. We're glad to be here.
another one for the turban head in the books.
Just like my wedding night, everybody's going to be disappointed.
There you go. That's Alex for you.
So, I just want to, for my audience who doesn't know you guys, they probably do, but how did you guys get started in this game here, man?
Alex, I'll let you go this time.
Um, well, I was actually a podcast guest on a lot of different podcasts, mostly business stuff. I didn't really touch conspiracy things, and then I managed to get on the Flat Earth Files. I was on episode 42, which to me I thought, wow,
Shit.
I'm almost an OG on Flat Earth Files. But I remember listening to Flat Earth Files episode 10 when it first came out. So
Right.
I was like, what the heck's going on with this Flat Earth
You
Files
know,
stuff?
guilty as charged. I still have not seen that.
Oh,
I
okay.
just my whole flat Earth research comes from like doom scrolling.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at this and it's like, oh shit, well that fucking makes sense. You know, like my
So,
mind's open enough already to be like, yeah, makes sense. I'm not
mhm.
gonna be married to it, but I'm open to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to start a podcast for a long time, but I just didn't. I knew that I couldn't do it alone. I didn't want to
Okay.
do that marathon. And then when I heard Raul come on Flat Earth Files after, and he was talking about Firmamental, I'm like, there it is. There's my sign. I'm gonna, jump in with this guy, and I'm gonna convince him. Like, I think we can make a go at this, and I'll pass the baton to Raul, and he can continue on.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's three of us at Firmamental. We got myself and Claude helped me start the show. I don't know if you're familiar with our producer Claude. But yeah, we were all of us have been guests on Flat Earth Files. Alex linked up with me through there. We were just messaging because in the episode that I was on Flat Earth Files, I was talking with George and I had mentioned that I was in a hip hop crew. I had mentioned on on his podcast that I was playing with the thought of starting a podcast, and George Hobbs kind of was like, "Man, I think you do a great job. You should do it." And I just said, you know what? I was going to start a podcast about paranormal stuff. I was going to call it Elusive Entities. I had a logo drawn up and everything. I just never got it launched off. And when the flat Earth stuff hit me, I was like, wow. I was like, this is really what I should be talking about, and I got consumed with that aspect of the truth. And he motivated me to start it. Claude reached out to me because I said on the show that anybody could help me out. So Claude reached out and said, "Hey, I heard on his episode that he did that he was helping people that wanted to start their own platforms." So we reached out to one another. He helped me start Firmamental. I kind of got the name as a divine download. I felt like it was a divine download. I did a prayer, and sure enough, I got um, led to the fact that I should start this show. So I started off, I had Alex on in episode 4, and we just hit it off, man. And I was like, dude, and we had already been messaging back and forth, talking about old school hip hop and stuff, and we just got along. So I was like, hey, man, you should rock this show with me. I would love to have a co-host, somebody to bounce ideas off of. And he's been going with me since episode 4 and on. So
I will say this though, I did test you. I was emailing you and making sure that you were like legit, that you knew your underground hip hop, and then you weren't full
yeah.
of shit. I'm like, man, I can't rock with this guy if he doesn't know certain songs, certain groups, and sure enough, and we're the exact same age, which was kind of cool too, because so we grew up in the golden era of hip hop, and I mean, me being in Canada, I always think I'm a freak of nature because Raul knows that I should not know as much as I do about hip hop.
That's
Oh,
great when
dude.
you find like a soul brother, you know what I mean? It's like I have many of them doing this my show. I found a lot of like fucking solid connections when it comes
Hmm.
to music in particular because I'm a huge music junkie.
Hmm.
So like I when I connect with somebody on music, like you can't shut me up. You know what I mean? And like I wanted to do a side like a side podcast about music or something,
Sure.
but it's just too much work. I already got this, and it's hard enough to like do everything by myself with nobody else doing anything for me. So
It's really hard by yourself.
yeah, it's
Shout
crazy.
out to you for doing that.
It's nuts, and I do it all on my phone too. So like it's
Wow.
insane.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Dude, and
But-
I noticed that you're on episode 169. That's a huge accomplishment. We're a little bit behind you, but man, 169 episodes by yourself, dude, that's an amazing feat.
Yeah.
And-
This
and I
is
was gonna-
177 now.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
Yeah.
dude, 23 episodes away from 200. That's awesome, dude. So
It's
props
crazy.
to you.
I try to pump it out as much as I can when I have the free time. You know what I mean? Like, because it's therapy for me, and I like to help other people learn about anything that's truth related. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I go all over the place. I have artists on, musicians, how they, break free from the matrix, if they sold their soul or not to get their music out there, all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it's a conglomeration of red pill content. It's not just like spirituality or religion or paranormal or aliens, or it's just everything across the board. It's like a truther
Hodgepodge.
variety show. Yeah.
Potpourri.
Yeah.
Well, but there's so many red pills out there, and it's just it only takes a few to wake people up.
That's all it is, man. Because all you got to do is swallow one, and then you can take 1,000 blue pills, and it will not cancel out that one red pill.
Yeah.
Yep.
I cannot understand for the life of me how anybody on earth can still trust the mainstream media at this point.
I don't get it. I don't get it, dude.
Honestly, like if you're on your 10th booster and you're wearing a mask in your car alone, like it's kind of the funniest and stupidest thing on earth, but
it's almost like
people.
They can't wait for the next pandemic to get more shots.
Yeah.
Jab me, baby.
No, I'm convinced these people just like to be told what to do. Some people enjoy abusive relationships and they want to remain in them and they feel comfortable in them. And I think these people just love to be abused. That's the conclusion that I've come to when I watch the evening news, because I'll watch a mixture of like evening news. I lean more toward Fox or Newsmax if I do consume it, but still I know it's the mainstream news and it's all bullshit. Now they give you some truth in it, but a lot of it is just convoluted and watered down with lies along with the truth, but I like to listen to the news, and then I like to listen to my favorite podcasters and the favorite people that I know that are well researched. And then I sit there and I look at the two and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm at the point now, I've been at the point for the past 4 years where my radar for bullshit on the TV is I start laughing out loud.
Yeah. The
My
crazy
dad
thing
will be
about
sitting in the
Canada,
other room and I can hear him watching the news and I'll just go, ah.
but the crazy thing about Canada is we can't even watch like Rebel News on social media anymore.
Not anymore.
Like I remember
Nope.
because of this, was it Bill C-16 that got passed? I think that's what
it was called. Yeah.
So we are not allowed to watch any Canadian news on Canadian social media networks at all. So like when I was making fun of the fact that I learned from American news sources about Trudeau before Canadian news source, it's not a joke. Like that's pretty sad that we live in communist Canada.
It is, man. Like I have listeners who send me like news articles or videos from the US. And I'm like, bro, I can't read this. He's like, what are you talking about? It's Canadian news. I'm like, you don't know what's going on up here, do you?
China 2.0.
Yeah, that's fucking insane, man. And even Trudeau like was on TV and he admitted that he paid off like CBC like millions of dollars to do all this shit. And it's like, it's incredible. And people have no idea. Like, and these are some of the things that are actually, these are some of the things that are actually in mainstream media that people aren't even paying attention to.
Yeah.
So it's
you
insane.
Can't bite the hand that feeds you, right? It's all by design. If Trudeau's paying you, you can't say shit about him. And meanwhile, he can't even walk in the streets without 30 bodyguards. He can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's how bad of a prime minister he is.
Oh, yeah.
Like Stephen Harper lives like right by me. He can go to the coffee shop at Bragg Creek, no problem. He has security, but he doesn't have like 30 guys around him because everybody wants to murder him.
Yeah. I love that one video that surfaced just about a couple weeks ago where Trudeau was in BC somewhere, and some lady like was
out.
filming him. We don't want you here. Get the fuck out. He's like, oh, thanks, man. Like
Yeah.
he's just like, he knows how to play it off. You know what I mean? But he knows that he's this character that the WEF implanted here, right? So
Mhm.
he's just playing it off like, yeah, I know I'm a piece of shit.
Mhm.
You know, I couldn't live like that.
No.
All those dudes got the same vibe. Gavin Newsom,
Yeah,
good old state of California. What's his name? Ariel, or Marson from France. All of them. They all got that same vibe going on.
It's
Do you
incredible.
think that Trump is going to keep the tranny, the admiral,
No.
tranny? Do you think he's going to
Nope.
keep that thing around? No.
What was that name again?
Yeah, Rachel Levine.
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne's cousin. That's a Canadian joke for all the Canadians.
He's the
out
real skater boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was gonna say too, Davey, if you like to do music, like you could have plenty of episodes just about a conspiracy surrounding music. There's plenty.
I've
of
done
those to
some.
go around.
I've done some.
Yeah.
I have done some. I did Elvis. I did like those '50s artists, Richie Valens, Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly. I did a couple episodes on those because I have a friend who's very knowledgeable about them and the goings on there. The whole plane crash when Richie Valens died, the Big Bopper, all that stuff. We got into that. It's good shit.
Richie Valens, was that La Bamba? He was La Bamba.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I love that movie about him.
Yeah,
great.
It's a good one. I just got to ask you. So do you think Elvis Presley's Donald Trump?
No. We all know who fucking started that one.
We're gonna put you on the polygraph because I don't believe you. I think you do believe he is.
Yeah. That's what that conspiracy leads to.
Yeah, we don't need to name names here, but yeah, that was. Yeah. I was fully on your side on that one, Raul. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" Did I show you what he said to me?
No.
Never go full retard though. Never.
He
go
said,
full
"You're
retard.
Next."
You're next. Oh, geez.
Yeah. I just
because
gave laughing emojis.
You got the goat, right? You got the goat behind you, so you're done.
Yeah, I must be satanic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously, you're a bad guy.
Oh, dude, I got my snake hat on.
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Davey a question here. This is very serious. So when you get to episodes 333 and 666 of your podcast, is it like an elevator? Do you skip that number and?
Oh no, I'm going full tilt.
You're going full 66 on your episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder who will be on that episode.
I listen to I'm a huge gamer too, and I listen to a podcast called Player One Podcast.
Oh yeah,
and they're all like probably like late 40s, early 50s guys that used to work for big time gaming magazines.
Okay.
And they're at episode like 800 or something now, and they've been doing it for 17 years. And but when they went to 666, one of the three guys puts on this deep devil voice for a like synthesizer voice, right? Like a voice effect. And he just did that for the whole episode. It was so funny, man.
Oh no, that's crazy.
Those guys are awesome. I listen to them like every week.
I did have a crazy experience. I was telling Raul one time I was doing a sound check because I usually start the podcast and I'll do like check, mic check. And then this crazy voice came back to me. Different language. I had no idea what it was. It was way deeper than my voice.
Okay, that would fucking freak me out.
It freaked the shit out of me. So I made Raul and whoever the
guest was, you just made the hair stand up on my arm.
Yeah. I was like, guys, we need to do a little prayer here because I'm usually pretty protected. That stuff doesn't usually happen to me. And then when Raul gets the paranormal people on, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I don't like this. This is scary.
Oh yeah. But I talk about paranormal all the time because that's one of the things that woke me up when I was at a very early age. Was one of the seeds. Was I had these voice phenomena happen to me when I was a kid, like 10 or 11 years old, in my house. Wow. Like three incidences. If you go back and listen to my very first episode, I tell it all. Okay. But that's one of the things that it just like totally freaks me out. I still have dreams about that house. I met the people that lived there. They moved in right after we moved out, and they're still there in the early 90s, from the early 90s. And so I approached them and I asked them if they've heard anything or seen anything. The youngest daughter told me that she was brushing her hair and something like brushed the small of her back. And one time she was like downstairs and she heard her name being whispered in her ear. And I'm like, okay, well, this kind of confirms that my fucking house here was haunted. You know?
This happened when you were young. So was anybody else were in the house having that stuff happen to them, or did it seem like it was picking on you alone?
It was just me because my brother, all my siblings left already. And then as soon as my last sibling left home to join the military, that's when the shit started happening.
Mm.
And just terrified me. Like I could still like time travel and remember exactly what happened, you know? But it was always voices. And the third time somebody heard it with me.
Oh, that's super cool.
And it was the same voice every time too. It was like a deep, stern voice. And it was disembodied. And so when I told the people that live there now, I gave them my Instagram contact info, and their older sister texted me and said, "Are you the guy that used to live in our house?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "There's so many things I want to tell you that happened."
She should come on the podcast.
I was going to say, dude, you need to make that an episode.
2 or 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. And she ghosted me because I don't think she wants to bring it up. She still lives there, and I don't think she wants to drudge up that energy. She was willing to come on at first and then completely ghosted me.
That is, it's interesting that somebody else heard it as well to give you that confirmation. My biggest fear with any paranormal activity is that it would attach itself to you. Because when I was a kid, I saw poltergeist, and I thought that was the scariest thing ever because it didn't matter where they went. I'm like, at least you could burn the house down or you move. No, if it's a poltergeist and it's following you, I'm out. That's it.
I haven't really experienced anything since then. And I was like 11, 12 years old. Now I'm 46. So it doesn't, I haven't had anything come up. But I definitely know other people, when I talk about this stuff, they would tell me that they never believed in any of this stuff until something happened to them.
Sure.
And then it just like opens the doors. That's what it did for me at a very young age, right? So it made me go on this whole quest of trying to find out all kinds of different things, right? Because it just opened up the doors of curiosity for me.
Were you ever in denial? Like,
No.
Did you ever want to just forget it and pretend like it didn't happen?
I knew it. It happened. I knew it, and I couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
But the time that my sister-in-law was with me, she was the other person that heard it with me. Years later, when internet came out and Facebook came out, I reconnected with her for a bit and asked her, because she divorced my brother, right? So I kind of lost contact, but I found her there. And then I asked her the question, "Do you remember that time when we were in the kitchen and we both heard a voice in the living room say, 'Thank you'?" And she goes, "No, that didn't happen." And I'm like, fuck. Come on. Somebody that closed it off and denied it, right? Just like you said. Did you ever try to deny it? I was like, no, I couldn't.
And now you're the crazy one. Now you're
I'm the crazy one. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing as what got me started. I've had a lot of strange things happen to me throughout my life, and I've had some of those experiences with other people and other friends. And yeah, different people, it hits different ways. Like me, I couldn't shut up about it. I wanted to talk about it with everybody because I wanted to see if anybody else was having similar experiences. But I probably I made myself look crazy because I was going around like the town crier. Hey man, guess what happened?
Yeah.
You know, and I had to learn, like, as I got older, I need to dial it back because I started to become that crazy UFO guy or that crazy paranormal
it goes
guy.
without saying, any of this stuff.
Yeah,
that's why I love doing this show, because I'm able to freely express myself with other people who are connected that know all this shit, right? Whereas out and about, you're just like, but it's getting more and more available to talk about this stuff with other people because people are waking up, man. And I see these kids that I work with, dude, they're like 20, 25 years old, and they're all into it now. It's crazy.
My daughter, she's very psychically connected, but she is trying to be normal. So she's trying to like not embrace the power. It's almost like X-Men, where you're this mutant, and it's like, do you embrace your powers or do you avoid them?
That's what it is.
Yeah, and she's trying her best to be normal. I'm like, dude, you're not normal. It's okay. It's part of the Great Awakening. Like there's
This
next
is,
generation is going to be amazing.
dude, it's gonna be insane. I'm so like stoked to be alive right now because this truly seems to me like this is it. This is the mass awakening thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you really have to be on guard with who you connect with because some people are out there to fuck you up and destroy you.
Mhm.
That's another thing, man. Like I've had experiences just this past year, like 2 or 3 experiences where I'm like, I maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore, you know? But I I was also thinking that's the devil trying to tell me to stop getting truth out there. So I had to
Mhm.
fight that and keep going forward, right?
Yeah, that's amazing, dude, because you do the show by yourself, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, I've had those same experiences. Alex has had those experiences throughout this last year, but we've had each other to rely on, right? I've had times
that's
where
yeah.
yeah, I had to step away for, a few episodes just because I had real life things that I had to deal with. But thank God for my brother because he kept the show going on, and then,
Kept the ball
you know,
rolling,
I
yeah.
I- and I'm able to shake it off and get back in the game, and there's been times when, he has a family vacation or he just wants a break and I record a few episodes or have solo episodes and it's awesome, dude. So to do that by yourself, man, that's a testament. That's a true
Mm-hmm.
testament because this people that think this game is easy, it's not. I mean, real life happens and whether you like to believe it or not, man, we don't get paid for this now would we
Well,
like
same
to
here. Yeah,
obviously who wouldn't,
yeah,
that's like
yeah.
asking anybody if you can make some dough when duh, I would love to do what I love to do and get paid, but that's not why we do it. That's why I think it's funny we have people accusing us of being shills and this and that. I'm like, dude, if I'm a
Hmm.
shill, where's my payday?
I've had
Like
that
we
too,
we
man.
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody asked me if I was from DARPA or some shit. I'm like, what?
Isn't that from Lost? The show?
I'm like, dude, I'm just a po' boy living in Brampton. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
We
man.
need to
It's
start up the
ridiculous.
Only Firm fans. That's what we need.
Mm, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be awesome.
Get some
Dude, like
foot
I have a
traffic.
Patreon out and I say to my listeners, I'm like, if you want to tip me, that's your way of doing it. I'm
Hmm.
probably not going to put out extra content because I just don't have the fucking time. And I'm
Mm.
doing this all for free. So if you want to, it's up to you. I don't push people to do it, but some people got on board. So I was like, okay, cool.
It is crazy though, the spiritual attacks. Like there's been times where we're super high, like we're having the best episode ever, and then next
Hmm.
day the suicidal thoughts or just thoughts that
Oh,
don't
dude.
belong in your mind, they're
Yeah,
there and
yeah.
it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I'm like, why am I feeling? I have no reason to feel like this right now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Why is this happening?
Yeah.
And then
Hmm.
usually I could sleep it off, and then the next day I'm like, okay, I got this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But it's hard sometimes. Sometimes I go like I do one episode in a month because I just get fucked up and I can't do it.
Hmm.
Sure.
And it's like shit. Am I going to lose my audience now? But no, they keep coming back, so it's cool.
It's hard. It's like going to the gym. You kind of have to keep that routine, or because if you start
Yeah,
slacking, it's easy. It's like, oh, I didn't record, whatever. I'll go two
yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
3 weeks, 4 weeks
Hmm.
before I get back in the gym. It's very much like that. So I think that me and Raul are very consistent. I would say we've been consistently going twice a week, every week.
That's good. That's good. That's what I aimed for too.
Hmm.
But usually it ends up going once a week or once every 2 weeks, and then sometimes I go on a roll. I'm like, boom, got this one, got this one, got this one, got this one.
Yeah.
Scheduling conflicts happen too, right?
Yep.
So that's another thing. But
Sometimes you got to make hay when the sun shines.
that's it, man. That's it. I
Yeah.
love doing it though. I love to talk to people like you guys and everybody else. Like some people were very crazy that I had on, and legit crazy confirmed, like Illuminati confirmed. This was
Hmm.
crazy, came out of a mental institution, confirmed by
Yeah.
Wow.
somebody else that knows them, right? I'm like, oh shit, really?
Dude, that's a mistake that we made a few times over first part of our podcast, and we're trying not to make it again, but you kind of do need to filter and screen who you're bringing on. You can't just go rogue and
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, hey
Mm.
man, just because somebody sends you an email sounds a little interesting, be like, sure, guy, come on. You know, we've had to pull some episodes, just a couple. Now, if you guys want the cut episodes, you're gonna have to reach out for me for that. You might have to pay, but dude, we've had some train wrecks on the podcast, so I feel you, brother. Not everything goes as planned. Not everything goes as scripted. This is freestyle podcasting right here. We don't come on with scripts. We don't edit.
That's me too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me too. Yeah,
If
me
I
too.
fumble my words, we just let it roll,
Yep.
but I think people, in a world that's very fabricated and the news is so fake and everything is so calculated and reality television isn't reality television, right? People
I
wear
knew that
masks
right when that came out.
yeah, when the camera's on, you act different, so but this is actually a true form of open, honest talk and discussion. And there's times, I feel it too. There's times where I feel like we've had great performances, and there's other times where I'm like, man, I hate that episode. I hate how I sound. I hate what I said. I
That's why I
talked
don't
too
listen
long.
back to my shit.
Yeah, I said this. I was so stupid. And then I end up, those are usually the episodes that I get emails back and like, I love that episode. I'm like, I
Yep.
freaking
Yep.
hate that episode. Like, I think
Mm.
Alex says the same thing.
Yep.
Like
I
our
get the same
listeners.
thing, man.
Yeah.
I was not on my game, but people liked it. Okay, that's cool.
People are stupid.
So I'm purposely trying to have a bad performance on this podcast. No, I'm just playing with you.
Yeah. Doesn't work that way, man.
It's gotta be with most artists, right? The thing that you love
Yeah.
is not the thing that everybody else loves, and it boggles your mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like Raul, you've put out a bunch of songs, and some of your favorite verses are probably ones that maybe get slept on, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. It's the exact same thing with podcasting. There's so many similarities to the music game and podcasting. The one difference that I would say is I thought the music game was so cutthroat and so, a bunch of egos and everybody cutting each other down to reach the top. And when we first came into the truth community, I was like, wow, this is the greatest community to be a part of, like the flat earth, level plane. I hate flat earth, but level plane, geocentric minded people, conspiracy minded people that know, about the Genesis 6 conspiracy and all these things. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. This is amazing. I can relate with these people. They don't think I'm crazy, and I thought it was an awesome, all-inclusive community. But recently, man, it's like
But
I've seen a flip in the game, and not just because of one
Mhm.
individual. Like I'm seeing it across the board. I'm talking to other content creators. We got friends that do TikTok. We got friends that write books. We got friends that do the short form content. Friends like yourself that do the long form content, like we do. And this seems to be happening to all kinds of truth content creators. There's a lot of division right now. There's a lot of finger pointing, and
Mhm.
we're witnessing the cannibalism of the truth community. And for me, I really believe that it's a demonic spirit that's attacking the truth community
dude,
and
I don't doubt that, man.
yeah, it's just like the devil's infiltrated the church, to
Yeah,
make
absolutely.
God look like the bad guy.
It's the same thing because we are the church right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. In a lot
like
of ways.
we're looking to the Most High to give us truth to give to others.
Mhm.
And when that happens, watch your fucking back.
Mhm.
Because,
It's
dude,
interesting.
like, there's people out there that are like, I think Jesus is the Antichrist or this and that. And I entertain these thoughts, but at the same time, it's like we have to know that there is an ultimate good and there is an ultimate evil, and that
Mhm.
ultimate evil is always trying to fucking put you on a fucking like off course. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
even with me, like, oh, I don't feel like doing this today. Like that's an attack.
Yep.
And
Definitely.
now you got people pointing fingers at each other, just like Raul said. It's like, can we all just like get along? I put a post up on my story the other day saying, we all have different ways of giving truth to other people. Can we just get along? Like, I love you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed is I'm not the same person that I was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Am I a fraud now because I'm not that same person? No, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm changing. I might not believe the same things that I believed 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I hope that everybody can say that. If you still
Yeah.
believe the exact same thing that you believed when you were 12 years old and now you're 50,
You're not evolving.
you're not evolving. Okay, so you're not a fraud. You're basically a 12-year-old in a 50-year-old man's body.
That's me.
Like, no. This is an RPG. Every day we
I'm
wake
young
up.
at heart, man.
Yeah, but every day we wake up, we get to be a new version of ourselves. We get to choose, who we talk to, what we're going to do, how
Which
we're going to go out into
characteristics
the
you're
world.
going to level up.
Right.
I love gaming, so I always equate this to that,
Exactly.
Like, what experience level are you on right now? And what attributes of your character are you putting those points up on,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody in your audience to call you out and say, "Oh, you're a sellout because you don't believe something that you said that you believed in 6 months ago," no, dude, that's not how the game works. I'm on my hero's quest, and we're lucky enough that we have an audience. And I always say, like, I'm the biggest walking contradiction. Don't follow me. If you're listening to me, great. You're probably going to listen to me go round and round in my head, tell myself a whole bunch of different stories, and then see what comes out on the other side.
Sure.
And I think Raul is the same. Like, we don't just talk about flat Earth, and we don't just dig into the conspiracies anymore. And I think that's good. I think that's going to be part of our evolution into positivity as the cannibalism of conspiracy continues. I think that we're going to be into the more positive aspects of podcasting and the truther community. And I really do see us being that positive beacon for a lot of people. And me and Raul have always hyped up people that we love and think are amazing. And we always share that with everybody. Like, there's nobody that we're trying to suppress. And do we invite everybody into our circle now? No.
Yeah.
That's what's good reason. Like, you don't have to, you know what I mean? That's your choice, right? It's to keep your hedge of protection up, right?
Right. But to say that we're sellouts because we don't believe the same thing that we did 3 years ago, that's
right.
unrealistic.
I'm the guy that questions everything. I don't like to have any kind of label on me, especially spiritually. I don't consider myself a Christian. I don't consider myself a Muslim. I don't consider myself a Jew. I've been called these things before just because of how I speak and what I speak about. But I say no. I questioned all of it. I questioned everything, even Jesus, who he was, like this and that, what happened to him his first 30 years of life. This is what brings on this whole New Age philosophy. Oh, he went out and he hung out with the Buddha and he did this, and he did that, this, that. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe that is true. I don't know. Is the Bible the actual word of God? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and take other people's word for it and say, oh, yeah, it's actually the word of God. And I'm like, okay, that's what you think. I don't know that. But one thing I do love about everything about the Bible and Christ is all of his attributes, his ability to forgive in the most unforgivable circumstances. His love, his all the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Those are easily bar none, the characteristics that we should be having in our own self. And I think it was Jesus or Paul, I don't remember who said it, but they said, you will know them by their fruits, right? Like, when they come to you and, they don't have an agenda, they just want to, dude, let's chill, let's connect. This is church, like, just because you guys might consider yourselves as a Christian, it doesn't mean I'm not going to hang out with you or talk with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, let's talk about this stuff, because I love it. I've been there. I've researched the Bible. I was spiritually dogmatic. I was in the Word for a long time. I became a dogmatic person, and I had to pull myself out of it and take the knowledge that I've learned and live my life accordingly without being dogmatic, without being like, there's people out there that say, watch your tongue if you swear you're going to go to hell, son. Like, those are the people that are like, no, I can't vibe with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm set free.
It's a journey, regardless.
Yeah, it is. Keep talking.
Yeah. So, no, you're fine. So, I'm outspokenly a follower of Jesus. I'm outspokenly a Christian,
Yes.
but we don't label Firmamental, a Christian podcast, we've talked to non-Christians, we've talked to probably some non-believers, we've talked to people about a wide array of subjects. I always say how I see it and how I relate to it, because to me, Jesus is the truth, and that's what I found through my life experiences. That's where I've been led, and that's where I'm at, and it works for me. And I hope to be an example of that. And I always profess that I don't claim to be perfect, and that's why I know I need Jesus, because he helps me to become the best person that I can be. And
Mhm.
I respect people at where they're at spiritually. It's my place uh to profess what I find to be true, right? But I've never been one to force my beliefs on other people, because there was times I was very resistant myself, and I think ultimately, uh we have unique experiences in life, and I've had experiences where I feel like he's been revealed to me. I've had personal revelations and things that I can't explain. Just like when I was younger, I asked God to reveal certain things to me, and I believe he's brought confirmation to my life, and I will always profess those things. So for me, I found what I was looking for. Then now that doesn't mean that it stops there. There's always growth to be made. There's always different chapters in life that we're stepping into, and new lessons that we're learning every day. And more as I get older, I'm learning to chip away a lot of those things that kept me held down when I was young. And one
Sure.
of the things that I've had to learn how to do is even to forgive myself, because as a Christian, I've learned that we have to forgive others, and that's a hard one to swallow, right? Even with what's going on in our world, with the pedophilia and the corruption and the wars and this and that, it's really hard for me to pray for my enemies. That's one of the hardest things that I've tried to get myself to do,
It
is to
absolutely is.
is
Yeah.
to pray for the people that are harming others, and find it in myself to
I
I still struggle with that one to this
yeah.
day. But I
I
do.
kind of keep it down lower, a little bit of a lower bar, where
Yeah.
I'm not praying for my enemies, but the people that did me wrong.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's kind of easier to be like, to look at scripture and say, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
Hmm.
It's okay. I'll let it go, dude. We might hang out again in the future, but if you do that again, then I might have to cut you off.
Hmm.
There have been
Yeah, dude.
moments where that has happened, where I let somebody back in and they didn't do me wrong anymore. So with that power of forgiveness, people will. I've had people beg me for forgiveness,
Hmm.
and I'm like, let me fucking sleep on it. Don't persist, but
Hmm.
we'll talk, okay? And then it's happened, and we're better now than we ever were.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely believe in the power of forgiveness, but just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you have to forget what happened. And we
Right.
have the right to protect ourselves, and that's where I'm at now. It's just like I can forgive somebody for what they've done to me, but if I feel like you're keeping me from becoming the best version of myself, it's a personal growth choice for
Oh,
me
for
to
sure.
remove
Yeah.
you from my life, just like removing a bad habit, or removing, anything in your life, a codependency, anything that's keeping you from growing spiritually. I've had to learn to I'm still learning to cut ties with these things, but it aids me in my growth. But first, I have to realize that the real work comes from within, you know, and
Absolutely.
and hopefully as I go through this, and that's why I love podcasting, because you said it at the beginning, it's your form of therapy. When I get on the microphone with Alex and we spill these things and we listen to how other people have triumphed over some very challenging situations, I can take bits and pieces from what I've learned from others and apply it to my own life, and put it in my own tool bag. And I've learned a lot of valuable lessons podcasting, and I'm grateful for that. My brother's sitting over there, I know he feels the same way, and that's ultimately what keeps us going. And you're right, man. For me, I've had those moments where I've looked at myself and I said, "Dude, like you're a hypocrite, and you should stop." And look
Sure.
at you, and you got this going on, you got that going on, and I could sit there and beat myself up, 5 ways till Sunday. But it's also learning, like, hey, man, the listeners like it because you're vulnerable, because people relate to that vulnerability, because people have
Yeah, you're
real
not
life
fake,
problems.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And when you talk about it and they see you get through it and push through it, I think it inspires others to do the same thing. And we're not trying to tell you what to do or what to believe. We're just hopefully you're seeing the growth of us in real time as we produce episode by episode, and people can follow it along. It's like a real life movie playing out. And I think that's why it's fun to listen to podcasts, because you hear the way you change. I'm sure you've changed from episode 1 to episode 177, just like Alex said,
Absolutely. Yeah. Some for the better, some for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is I hate the fact that I feel like I don't do enough for the world every day. I put a huge weight on myself every day, and the days where I don't go out and be the best version of myself and spread as much love and do the things that I know that I can do to make my community better, to make my family better, things like that. So when I do see people out there doing incredible things for a small village, or let's say an entire city, or whatever, if they're making the world a better place, the last thing I think about actually is their belief system. All I see is they're following their heart, and they're doing whatever they can to make this world a better place, and they're actually simultaneously building that spiritual mansion as well, whether they want to believe that or not. I think that for me, I'm guilty of definitely trying to build a mansion on earth more so than in, let's say, heaven, a spiritual mansion.
No, I got it. Yeah.
And as I get older, I keep having this weight on me that I need to do more for not just myself, but for others. And that's how I mean, podcasting is great. I don't know how many people we reach. If it's thousands, that's amazing. If it's millions, holy cow! Like, who the heck am I to do those things? But it's one way to hopefully positively affect people with some of the things that we talk about.
And it's exactly what I was saying, Alex, when when I posted that thing that said we all have our own ways of getting truth out there, right? You don't have to be the guy that's going out and feeding kids with one loaf of bread like Jesus did. You don't have to be the guy who's showing yourself on Instagram praying for people. In fact, that's probably not a good thing to do, because the Bible says it is against that.
Yeah.
Go in your closet and pray. It's better to do that, right?
Be the word.
Yeah, and like, that's the thing, man. Like, I feel the same way as you. I'm like, maybe my podcast isn't reaching enough people. What else should I be doing? And then I had a couple guys come to my door one day, and I'm like, who the hell is knocking on my door? So I go out there, and it's they're called Plan Canada, and they allow you to do different plans to sponsor children. And they put the money against child sex trafficking, and against, help them go to school, get their education, this and that. So I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a divine thing right now, because I feel like I'm not doing enough. So I was like, fuck it. So now I'm sponsoring this little girl in Colombia. Her name is Ashley, and it's like, cool, and they give you a package where you could like write to them, send them a letter. It's a good thing, I think. I mean, I hope and pray that the money's going to that. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not like, because I don't donate anything, man. I'm like, I refuse to donate for like cancer research, all that shit, because they already got that shit.
Yeah. Fake.
You know what I mean? So, but if it's like a child, like I can make a difference in a child's life, then I guess that would be the best thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much when you step outside yourself in your own world and being consumed by your own problems, and you set it aside to step outside of that comfort zone and serve someone else, and absolutely do it for no credit whatsoever.
Yes.
And to not expect anything in return. And I gotta admit, if I'm just being honest here, I used to have like this, karmic attitude, like I want to do good for others because I want good things to happen to me. But really, I think the real truth is to do good for others and not even have to expect anything back. You're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. And that's the true definition of integrity. It's doing the right thing when nobody else is around. Yep. And as I've grown spiritually, I find myself doing this more and more.
Yes.
And that's how I know I'm advancing to the next level.
Yeah, dude. All it does for me, it just makes me feel like I felt like that was exactly the right thing to do when I do it,
Mhm.
you know, because there's like no regrets. I don't care. I only had $10 in my pocket. I don't give a shit. I'm going to give this guy $10 or whatever. Right. Like buy them a hot plate from somewhere. And, you know, he's sitting there fucking shaking in the cold. I'm like, here's a hot meal, bro, you know,
Mhm.
and then just walk away and they'll go, I love you. I love you. And that's it. You know, it's like, okay, cool. You know?
Do you think that God sends NPCs to us, like Red
Yeah.
Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto? Like,
It's possible.
I've been playing Red Dead Redemption. I'm like, man, there's so many people
It's a
standing
great
around. They
game.
look like NPCs wherever I go. It's like, should I be helping this one with a flat tire and everything's a
Right.
test? It's like, wow, Rockstar
Mhm.
really nailed it. But I kind of think that God's got a funny sense of humor where he'll put certain things in front of you to see if you'll ignore it or if you'll actually step in and help and make a
Yeah.
difference in someone's life.
Definitely, the Bible says we never know when we're entertaining angels, right? So
Dude,
I've
I'm
thought
telling
about
you,
that.
man.
And
I
I
watched
think
this video
I
today
think
on YouTube. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say too, I think that not that we get tested, so to say, but I do believe that, just like the enemy, we know that demonic spirits are real. We know that evil in this world is real. We know that there's a palpable evil that's going on. Like the Bible says, we batter powers and principalities in high places.
Hmm.
So I do believe that there's this institutional evil that we're fighting, but at the same time, I think this institutional evil is fighting and it seems like it's winning. It's just because it's got its volume turned up to 10. It's the same thing like with ourselves when we're living that kind of life, when we are living our most sinful life, when we are living our most selfish life, we got our own voice and our own desires turned up to 10. We're not listening to that little voice. I think God's voice is a whisper. I think that little voice that's called our conscience was given to us, but I know even myself, there's many times I just turn that voice down and I turn the other voice up because it's real easy to just please yourself in that moment, in that time, get that instant gratification. But I think as you grow, and you learn the truth, that voice of the enemy starts to go down, and that inner voice, that voice that God speaks to us through, starts to go up, and you start to make more decisions for what's right than what's wrong. And that's how you're growing and advancing. Now you hiccup and you mess up, and we still, all the time, sometimes I still have anger problems. Sometimes, something can set me off, and then I have to stop, pump the brakes, and say, "Dude, put yourself in check. This isn't the way to be
Sure.
acting. You'll do something stupid like you did when you were in your 20s and 30s." And that's what happened to us recently in the podcasting game. I wanted to give that kind of response initially when it happened to me, like "F you, bro," come right
I think
at
you
you, and
held. I
it,
think you handled it with grace, man.
yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
used to be a battle rapper. I could hit you with 500 million, I could write a song about you and just destroy you, but I'm
And
not
your
going to do
mom.
that. But really, dude, it's like that's how I know I'm changing. I know I'm changing because I'm not the same person. I have a conscience that I didn't have before.
I don't.
You know something? He's probably not going to listen to this, so I'm not going to name drop him, but I'll
Nah, we
say it
don't name
anyway.
drop. We don't name drop.
My friends that I was just talking about that I forgave, and he's back in
Mhm.
my life now, right? He admitted to me just like 3 or 4 days ago because he sent me a video about, you know, how we're talking about how people are talking about how like certain percentage of the population doesn't have an inner dialogue.
Yeah.
You heard about this, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sent me a video, and then underneath he says, I don't have an inner monologue.
Oh, he's an NPC.
And I'm like, holy shit, dude. He's like, why do you think that like I just say the stupidest things sometimes? Because I don't think about it. It just comes out. And he's admitting this to me, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I can't even like imagine what that's like.
Mhm.
Right? I used to think I was crazy because I talked to myself all the time.
Yeah.
All the time when I was a kid.
I
There was
hear my
no,
own voice all the
yeah,
time in my head. Yeah.
constantly. I used to think I was the crazy one, and now it's the other way around. It's like, oh my goodness, if your mind is blank constantly, you're an NPC. That's crazy.
I don't know. Some
Ooh.
call that enlightenment, though, right? Like, it's like free your mind and let go of all your thoughts. But for me, it's like fill your cup. But what are you filling your cup with? That's what's important.
if that voice is telling you negative shit and telling you to do bad things,
Yeah.
it's probably not the voices you should be listening to.
Right.
For me, it's that easy. It's like cast all thoughts in or what's that word? The scripture, Raul? Cast every thought through Christ or something like that. Capture every thought, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
discard the negative ones, right?
I don't know the exact scripture.
I don't know
quoting,
if
but
my
I know
friend has that. Because he's telling me sometimes, he's like, he's got this ex who's moved on, and he's telling me, he's like, bro, I feel like I don't care. I just want to go and slash her fucking tires and end up in jail. I don't care. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? You're that stupid? You know?
That's
Quit
weird.
being an idiot. She's moved on. Like,
Wow.
move on too.
He needs to learn about himself, right? He needs to ask the questions why he's doing those things. Not that we're having a therapy session for him right now, but
Yeah.
you got to ask yourself why you're mad.
Yeah,
Right? Most of the time,
yeah.
as men, when we get mad, it's because we don't understand why we're mad, or we don't
Right.
understand what the hell is going on, but we get angry. It's because we don't know what the fuck's going on inside of us.
I don't like being angry. It's not my thing. I just don't enjoy the feeling. Some people thrive off of that emotion.
I prefer
But for
being
me-
horny.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I wanted to ask you guys, Raul, you said you hate flat Earth before?
Oh no, I just hate the term flat Earth.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Yeah. No, I hate the term flat Earth. I just think it sounds
yeah.
ridiculous.
I was like, what?
But that's what everybody knows it as, right? You know,
Right.
I like to call it level plane geocentrism, because
Geocentrism.
that's actually what it is, right? It's not completely flat, right? There's mountains, there's hills, there's everything, but water always finds level. You know, you can't protest that. I'm like, when on the micro does it change on the macro, right? You could take a cup of water, fill it up, and then I could take that cup of water, fill it in the sink. It's going to find its level. I could take the sink, pour it into a bathtub. It finds its level. I could take the bathtub, pour it into a pond. It finds it's level. You could take the pond, throw it into a lake. It'll find its level. Take the lake, throw it into the ocean. And now all of a sudden it magically curves. Like, no, it has a container, and that's your ice wall. And that's why you can't go.
The ocean is bigger, and there's going to be a curve. I saw this video, I think it was this morning, where this guy was talking about how, you know, they got us thinking that like the inner Earth is the core, and it's like all molten lava, and it's super hot, right? Why isn't the bottom of the ocean super hot and boiling?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent this to my buddy, because I play Call of Duty mostly every night, right? They're inviting me right now, like, fuck off.
Black Ops 2, Black Ops 2. Come on, everybody.
No, dude. So he's like so anti-flat Earth. I'm like, come on, man, just open your mind to it. He's like, no. He's like, you guys are retarded, right?
What?
And I sent him this video about the core, right? And then he sends a gif of a guy smacking his head off the wall, saying, arguing with a flat earther. And I'm like, well, tell me what you think he means then in the video. But he just skipped over it, and he never told me anything.
The only reason he believes in a water ball spaceship is because that's what his kindergarten teacher taught him when he was 5 years old, and it's common sense. That's the only he doesn't know anything about water ball spaceship that's convertible, has no shield whatsoever, as it flies through the galaxy for no reason whatsoever. He never thought about it like that.
Water sticking to a spinning ball.
Yeah, and we live on the outside of the spaceship. Like, think about that. If we're on the Death Star, we're actually on the outside of the Death Star, flying around for no fucking reason. 12 million miles a day and just dodging meteors. Like
see, that's the thing. Like, when I see somebody who sends a video out like that, with the core and why aren't the bottom of the oceans boiling, I'm like, that makes fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. Now, I want to ask both of you individually, I don't care who goes first, what's one thing that you could say to a doubter of flat Earth that you would hope would convince them?
The first thing I always talk to people about is lies in science. And a perfect place to start is the core of the Earth. The core of the Earth supposedly is 4,000 miles down. The furthest, the deepest ocean is about 8 or 9 miles. The furthest we've ever mined or dug down is about 8 miles. So we're 3,992 miles away from actually getting a core sample of what is there. and yet they have the nerve to tell us what is in the core. They don't
What's
even,
there?
yeah, they have no fucking clue about anything that has to do with this planet. They have everything that they've told us about the moon is a lie. It's fake. Everything they tell us about the sun is totally fake. And I mean, if that's
Fucking
not
Buzz Aldrin said we didn't go.
so if that's not enough to blow someone's mind, but that's the thing is you have to be so careful not to implode someone's brain with like
Yeah.
I've talked to
Right.
geologists, like I've talked to my geologist cousin about the center of the earth, and she short circuited and she said, I can't talk about this with you.
Mhm.
And I'm like, dude, that's because you believe in scientism and your ego is trying to protect the lie right now. And
That
for
you
me,
paid money to learn about.
right, that you paid shit tons of money to learn about. You got a
Yeah, yeah.
master's degree. You've done all these
In
things.
bullshit.
Yeah, and you don't know fucking anything about reality. You know nothing about reality.
Mhm.
That's where I'd
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. For me, I thought first off, when Flat Earth had its big run, its big heyday in YouTube before it was the most censored subject and
Sure.
fact checked and channels buried in the algorithm, there was Flat Earth content that was getting millions of views, hundreds of millions of views. I think they said at one time between I forgot what years, but like 2012 to 2016 or something, it was the most searched subject, on YouTube. And then obviously they start fact checking it. They put the little, this is an archaic system, belief system, and blah blah
I
blah.
like to call it fag checking.
Yeah, but I didn't get
Is
into
this
it.
gay?
Yeah, because I just thought and I was into conspiracy because I had already been hip to 9/11, the JFK assassination,
Sure.
secret
Yeah.
societies, the New World Order, the alien conspiracy. I didn't quite know all the stuff that I know or think now about the extraterrestrial conspiracy. I was kind of more like an ancient astronauter, but I was open to a lot of things. But the flat Earth thing, I probably saw videos pop up and I was like, this is effing ridiculous. No way am I going to even listen to this and just skip right onto the next video, you know. But when I finally opened up to it, and it was George Hobbs, it was George Hobbs, and it was because I had been listening to Fact Hunter, and I was listening to like Charlie Robinson from Macroaggressions, and I was listening to a lot of paranormal podcasts. So it just shot me that podcast randomly. I am going somewhere with this, so it shot me Flat Earth
That's
Files.
okay.
Yeah, and I remember seeing George Hobbs' name connected to it, and I was like, "Wait, George Hobbs from Fact Hunters doing this podcast? Like, I know George is not a dummy. Like, I've listened to Fact Hunter. Like this. Hold on, man. I'm gonna." And I had just I'd been listening to. I think I was wore out on the paranormal podcast, the Bigfoot podcast. I just wanted something different, and it kept popping it up, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I say I'm open minded. Let me just give this podcast, I'll give it 10 minutes. And if it doesn't grab me, then I'll never look into flat earth again. Here we are, right? Firmamental Podcast. It's obvious what happened.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
gripped right away because there was something about it, the way he presented the information. But for me, like Alex is saying, when I started to realize the pattern of lies, I was like, holy crap, they lied about that? Well, why would they lie about that? For me, like, why would they fake the moon landing? Oh my gosh, NASA has all these occult ties. They're all like in Aleister Crowley's Cult of Thelema, Jack Parsons, the Nazis. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, this is like the wildest science fiction. You find out about the Stanley Kubrick thing and like, okay, so the lies open me up to it. And then just for me, if I have just a moment to try to convince somebody, I'm just like, look at the words. It's like somebody trying to study to become like a sovereign citizen, right? You got to learn legalese to represent yourself in court. If you know the lingo, you can get out of anything, right? Because they're
Brandon
speaking
Williams just booked with me again for
yeah.
the second
So
time. Yeah.
you got to learn to speak in their language, and who was it, the individual that said once you understand the power of symbols and words, then you unlock, you like, the veil will fall from man, the scales will fall from man's
You're
eyes.
breaking their spell, and the flat Earth is the biggest, or the globe Earth, I think, is the biggest black magic spell that they have.
Yes, yes. So for me, I would just point out, look at the words: planet, plane, plane, planet.
Mhm.
It's a plane, horizon, because it's horizontal, water level. Like, then you look at their training manuals. We are not spinning. Airplane. Because it's finding its level and it's flying over a plane. It's all there. You look at the training manuals; they all say landing on a flat, non-rotating surface. Obviously the amount of distance that we could see, but just the words alone. And then, like, once it hit me about the planets not being actually planets, and then you look at the North Star and its navigational position, and mariners have been using this since the beginning of time,
Never
and
moves.
all the megaliths, and how they line up to these same constellations, and their model just does not make sense. So here on Firmamental Podcast, we don't claim to know it all. I personally think it's a level plane with a dome. I believe in biblical cosmology, so that's in my head how it looks. But do I think that I know for sure? No, we haven't been there. And if something happens, if we learn that it's a cube, we've had Vinny B on our show, and he talks about the Enochian model, and then they talk about the sun traveling through portals from one end to the other, and he brings up the Book of Enoch, which is really interesting. And then there's other things that I'm entertaining with my mind, but the one thing that I know is it's not this spinning water ball going through outer space at the speeds that they're saying it's going on, with the sun at the center of the universe. Like, no, I believe that it's
Dude,
a geocentric universe.
when you throw a fucking wet tennis ball, the water comes off of it. And that
Yeah.
tennis ball is spinning really fucking fast too. How fast does this giant globe have to spin for the water to stick to it?
The funniest defense to that, there's not enough gravity in the middle of that tennis ball. There's
Well,
not
gravity
enough,
is their god, right?
yeah, it's not. There's not enough
It's
density.
another spell, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still called the theory of gravity. It's still called the theory of evolution. It's still called the theory of what is it? The Big Bang Theory.
I think part of the big Great Awakening will be. I'm hoping doctors will be
Germ
part.
theory. Sorry.
I hope doctors will be part of the Great Awakening, because there's so many doctors that go and become licensed drug dealers and thinking that they're God. And I heard a crazy statistic that like 99% of doctors that graduate are atheists. So they basically come out of university thinking that they're God, and now they're gonna do all this shit for humanity. They're gods. They're saving everyone, and meanwhile they're poisoning everyone with these fake drugs that don't do
They
anything
take the
wrong.
Hippocratic Oath not to harm others, and yet they're harming others all the fucking time,
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
What does Gary Wayne say? You should not be saying oaths.
Exactly.
Period. That to me is already a what is that, like a red flag. You should not be saying any kind of
Well,
oath.
taking an oath is like selling your soul, pretty much, right?
Right. Right. But it's also like Seinfeld, where it's not a lie if you believe in it. So if the indoctrination, the propaganda is so strong, and it's not a lie to you, and you believe it, then you will think that you're doing good for the world. And that's where the real problem is. That's where the Great Awakening needs to happen. And there's got to be a huge shift, because basically the school system is this communist churning machine that pumps out these fools, like overeducated fools, right? Useful idiots. And it's going to take a lot of conservative children, a lot of awakened children, not just conservative, but a lot of awakened children, maybe with zero political ties, just awake to what the world actually needs to make a change and actually stand up against so many of these systems, like the medical system, the universities, so on.
It's a slow drip, man, on both sides, on the enemy side and our side. I mean, the generations are what are going to make the change, right? So we have to get that knowledge out there. But I still think everything's speeding up so quick, man. I feel that, like, even time, like, I feel like most of the time I don't even know what day it is anymore. Whereas 10 years ago, I was like, oh, this day, this is this day, everything. I knew the date. I knew the number. I knew the day. Now I'm like, fuck, what is it, Thursday today?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's only Wednesday,
It's
Or
because of the core.
Tuesday.
NASA says this core is speeding up. I think that has something to do with science.
That's another one of the big conspiracies that I've been getting into, is just the manipulation of our history and the manipulation of the timeline itself. And then, it always seems to be the Jesuits changing things, right? And Yeah, the changing of our
Was it?
calendar, I think I think our the changing of our calendar is one that we don't give enough significance to, man. I think it's really thrown
Yeah.
us off, that our timeline is off. Like I think that like the whole Earth's timeline is off. I think history is off. I think there's certain characters that have been wrote into history that never even existed. I think there's events that have been wrote into our history that never happened. We could go on and on with this stuff, but even the changing of a 13-month, 28-day perfectly in cycle with the woman's menstrual cycle, you know, uh, the seasons and everything, we would understand and be so in rhythm. But I think we're so thrown off trying to force living in this timeline that we're being forced to. Our work weeks are based on this. Our kids go to school based on this timeline. It's thrown everything off. I think that I wish we could take it back. How do we take it back? But that's what we're trying to accomplish here by exposing these lies. We're trying to get people to just recognize these patterns. You know, um, that's a big one to me. The timeline, man, and I'm with you. I feel like as every year I age, I feel like every year's gone by quicker and quicker, right?
Yeah.
It's in a sense.
Dude, my 30s, they were, it was a reasonable time lapse, but I look back and I'm like, the fuck did my 30s go, dude? And then I hit 40 and I'm gonna turn 46 in May, and I'm like, what the fuck? I feel like I just turned 40.
Yes. Yeah,
What the
dude,
hell?
I'm gonna be 47 in April, dude, and I'm like staring down 50, and I'm like, dude, like what the heck's going on, man?
Staring down the barrel of tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, it's scary, bro. That's why I gotta quit drinking and get my ass in the gym because I want to be around
Uh,
for, I want to be around for it, you know.
I was gonna
it's a
say
toughie,
something.
man.
I noticed the last couple of weeks, I actually look younger. I don't know what I did,
You do, you look great.
but I'm starting to look younger. I don't know if it's because I'm sleeping or what I'm doing, but I'm actually noticing like I don't have crazy bags under my. I don't know what I did, but something I'm doing is correct. So I got to keep doing this Wolverine
Oh, that's
juice or
good.
whatever
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh wow, we're 46, right? 1978, yeah, we're 46. So yeah, it's kind of freaky being on the wrong side of 40. I remember being on the wrong side of 30 and really getting scared about 40. And then
Yeah.
40 came and it's like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. I didn't turn into the old man that my dad was.
Mhm.
And
Dude, I see people out there and I figure out what their age is, and I'm like, especially women too. I'm like, wait, you're 30, you're 36? Why do you look like you're 50?
mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. Like, this chick's
Yep.
38, she looks like she's pushing 50. Like,
Stress,
yeah,
cigarettes,
man, it's
alcohol, like
crazy, dude.
drugs do a number on you, man. They really do.
So do kids,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I
kids
mean?
will.
Like, single moms will
Yeah.
fucking age them. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mm.
oof, it's brutal, man.
My kids give me a hard time about my hair, my two daughters, and I'm like, the only reason my hair is thin is because of you two. And once you move out of the
Yeah.
house, this is going to be nice and thick, and I'm going to get the
Yeah.
Elon Musk
Look,
back.
look into Ace Mannon. Have you heard about that?
No, what's that?
Yes, I've heard the.
Ace, yeah, ACEMANNAN. It's like it's part of the aloe family, I believe. I
Family,
think
yeah.
it's like an aloe gel, but like
Oh, okay.
people have been using it on their head, or I think they drink it, and it's just like magical hair growth.
Oh, really? I'm going to do that for
Yeah.
my testicles. I'll try it out there first.
Fuck, I need something to get rid of it.
Yeah, I
Fuck
know,
that.
man.
I want a nice, good
No,
ball fro for my wife.
I
I want to
like Dave
impress her.
Chappelle, man. I want them shit smooth as eggs. Remember that?
if you follow Mad Max West, her name is Mad Max West. She promotes it and sells it, so you can look into that, and it works, man. I've heard it works.
So that's what you're using for your beard, right?
Yeah.
No, this is pure natural,
That's
man.
natural. Okay.
How long you been growing that beard?
Since late 2020
Yeah.
or
Our boy Eric.
2021.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Our boy Eric Finnis, man. You guys are the
Mhm.
beard gang, dude.
Beardy.
Straight up beard gang. What's
We
up,
did an
Eric?
episode a while ago.
Yeah, Eric's good people, man. He actually
For sure.
came on Firmamental and
I listened
co-hosted
to
an
it.
episode with us. Yeah, that
Yeah, I
was
listened to it.
pretty awesome. Yeah, Eric's a good dude, man. Shout out Eric. No, and just to have some fun too, man. I wanted to ask you guys because I wrote down a few things earlier today, just randomly popped in my head. But what do you think is the gayest, most stupid conspiracy out there right now, or one that you've heard? Like, give me your favorite, just ridiculous
Like the most
conspiracy.
absolute
Yeah,
stupidest
just
one.
yeah. I want to hear which one you guys got.
Oh
I'm
man.
not. Nothing hits home to me right now because there's so much. Like you could throw like the most absurd thing in front of me, and I could entertain the idea of a possibility. I don't know, man. It's hard to say.
For me, that's an easy one that Raul's sold out. That he's
Uh,
Illuminati. That's
Oh God.
that's my favorite retarded conspiracy. Like shit, I
Yeah,
want some of that money, Raul. You holding out on me?
yeah.
I'm just trying to rack my brain here.
Dude, when I heard that people believe that all birds are robot spies,
Oh, that's a
That's
good
a
one.
crazy
Yeah.
one. That's a crazy one. Yeah.
yeah, dude, I could never get into that one. No, dude, like, come on, like, even their poop is a biological product of their, the cyborg creates it, and they're dispelling their oil, and they're recording us, and I'm like,
I
dude,
think some of these get put out into the
yeah,
zeitgeist in order to fuck us up and make us look dumb. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah, that's
Right.
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
The globe. The globe is one of the dumbest conspiracy theories.
That's true.
The Earth is not a water ball spaceship. I'm sorry, everybody who is hanging on to it out there. Like tonight is your red pill for no more water ball spaceship. It's over.
I think it's not ridiculous, but I think Tartaria is one of those things that was put out there to really detract this
You think so, eh?
because it spreads so fast.
Yeah.
And I looked
Yeah.
into it. I'm like, I don't know, man. Rocks or mountains are fucking what?
Petrified trees.
Petrified trees or giants. There's giants petrified in the mountains. I don't know, man.
There is
I
something
don't
to
know.
it because my family is from Russia and they have some crazy stories about when the communists came in and like my great grandfather, he owned an island with a factory on it. And when the communists came, they took that island, they killed him. That was it. My great grandmother managed to get the hell out of there with the kids and like
So
Russ is
maybe it
kind
was
of
like some kind of another kind of great reset for them.
Russia has some crazy stuff. Russia is home to some of the
Dude,
most
it's
brilliant
so
people ever.
big too,
It's so
man.
big. And then you got the
Mhm.
crazy Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. These are all very rich and very mysterious areas that are not that easy to get to. So
Yeah.
there's a lot there. There's a lot there that none of us know.
I like to talk about this subject quite frequently. Um, but you guys know, like when you were growing up watching movies that took place in the future, which was like you're watching an 80s movie in 1999 is the future,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and there's
yeah.
I love
flying
that.
cars and shit, and it's
Yeah.
all cyberpunk, all that stuff. Flying cars, why don't we have them yet?
Yeah, what's up with
And
that?
are we going to get this cyberpunk style of future? But in order to get there, is there going to be some kind of great reset? And then are we going to have to sell our soul in order to partake in that?
hmm
Could that selling of the soul be the Neuralink? Could it be, because the Neuralink would be obviously would be the mark of the beast, I think.
hmm Yeah. No, that's exactly what I think it is. And just to let you know, they are where was it? Dubai. They have the air taxis that they're implementing. Have you seen those? So like it's happening. Yeah, they basically have like I don't know if they're unmanned, but they're basically like drone taxis that pick you up and they're air taxis.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah. I looked it up on
I
one of
saw
our
the RoboCops though
Yeah, we got
in Dubai.
RoboCops.
Yeah.
There are air taxis. I don't know if you guys got them in your cities where you're at, but here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I'm at, we got the self-driving cars that drive people around, and they're freaky as heck, dude. And they got
That's
cameras
fucked.
on all the sides. Yeah,
I wouldn't
so I
trust
mean,
that shit.
no, I know, dude. Like as conspiracy theorists, dude, we know like the smart cities, the digital ID cards, the
And look what's
CBD.
with the LA fires, man.
Yeah, well, that's what I
Like
think
LA
that
is
they're
getting
doing there.
fucking completely fucking annihilated. Whoever would have thought that?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're clearing it out so they could rebuild it as one of these new
Rebuild.
smart cities. It's
Yeah.
they're Hawaiianizing, they're Mauing LA right now.
I thought that California was supposed to have an earthquake and that California was supposed to
Yes.
slide into the ocean
Split
and that
off,
would be the end of it, like
You
Escape
guys
from
ever
LA
see
kind of thing.
Escape
That's
from
the
LA?
one that they sold.
yeah.
That's the one that they sold us for
Fuck yeah.
years and years. That
That fault
California
line.
is going to fall into the ocean, and that Arizona is going to have oceanfront property, like George Strait said, right? And
Yeah.
dude, that is the really scary one, because imagine if that ever really did happen. Imagine the amount of pollution that would be in the ocean, dude. If a whole state just broke off into the ocean,
Holy
man,
shit.
that
Isn't
would
it-
be really.
Isn't it
That
really
is
crazy
terrifying.
though to be right beside a gigantic body of water and not use any of that water to fight any of the fire?
Yeah,
Isn't that just
I know.
little bit insane?
Or
Does-
fire trucks
how come
come in, but they deny the fire trucks to come in because they have to pass emissions test.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't use salt water. That's bad
What
for
the
the
fuck?
environment. But the fire is okay for the environment. It's all good.
Yeah, the chemicals that are burning, all this
Hmm.
unnatural stuff that's burning into the air.
I
coming
bet you it was a
back
bunch of
down in ash
Cybertrucks
rain.
that caught fire in LA.
Well, they're saying it's either smart meters blowing up, direct energy weapons, a combination of the two, the mismanagement of the allocation of funds. We know California's, California's just, they dropped the ball on everything. Their fire chief, did you hear, LGBTQ community member didn't want to hire white males. They didn't want to hire people that were unvaccinated. So the fire department was undermanned, undertrained. They cut the budget by 23 million. The state destroyed the dams that would have created the reservoirs for the water that they were tapping into. Dude, you don't make all these mistakes. They made all these mistakes on purpose. So when this did happen, it would play out just the way it's playing. And if people think that 80 to 100 mile per hour winds for this many days in a row in the month of January is a naturally occurring event, like, bro, you are very asleep and you need to be red pilled. And then what pisses me off too is everybody cries because it's Los Angeles, California, but nobody gives a shit about those people in the Appalachian Mountains that are going through it. And they still, a lot of these people still don't have energy. A lot of these people still don't have power at their houses, and they've been totally screwed. No money for FEMA, no relief funds, no nothing.
Okay.
It's shout out to our boys like Billy Bond, who's actually out there, and people like just everyday people helping these folks, because dude, they've been screwed over by the government, and a lot of these people are trying to survive through this. They're getting hit with a winter storm right now that like they've never seen in history. So like nobody talks about that. It's crazy.
There's a reason why, and the movie is called Deliverance. All those mountain hillbillies with the banjos, like nobody wants to go in there. Yeah, that's what they think. But no, it's what Raul says is, we got people like Billy Bond out there. Like some of the greatest people live out there. It's not a bunch of rapist hillbillies.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I was about to bust out my Native American flute, dude.
I can't hear that frequency.
Can't beat my kazoo, dude.
I don't know if it would pick it up on this microphone. That's awesome, dude. We got the first kazoo being played, dude, on the podcast. I'm sure you busted it out on yours before. That was awesome.
Oh, I have, a couple times. Yeah. Just a little thing. I don't want to annoy people with it, but I want to make people laugh, right?
The most underrated instrument in, probably out there, the kazoo. Shout out to the kazoo.
Or the jaw harp. I love the jaw harp.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. I got one of those, but I still haven't fucking learned how to play it. I can't do it. I've looked at so many tutorials, and I can't get this thing to work.
Dude, that's awesome. You got one of those?
I bought it at a professional music store too.
Oh, that's dope, dude. I'm gonna have to cop one of those. Yeah, I like redneck stuff, man. I'm brown,
Me
but
too.
Dude, I really got like a heart for old country music and
bluegrass, man.
Yeah.
What's the thing that goes in your mouth that twangs, like that rubber band?
Yeah, it's a jaw harp. Yeah.
Jaw harp. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a jaw harp. The harmonica's dope too. Yeah, dude. If country music ain't got the twang, get it out of here, man. I hate this pop sounding country.
Music,
yeah, no.
Shania twang.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of twang I like in country.
Merle Haggard's the GOAT to
Merle
me.
Haggard,
yeah.
Is Johnny Cash country?
Yes, of course.
He was considered country. Yeah, he's more like
definitely outlaw
like
country. Yeah, rockabilly. Outlaw, he gets into rockabilly, and then when he got older, he He was getting really experimental with his music. Remember he hooked up with Rick Rubin, who was the producer of the
Hmm.
Beastie Boys and all of them, and he started remaking famous songs that were made, and he remade that Nine Inch Nails song that
Yeah, I
became
heard
like
it
his
hurt. Yeah.
that became his
I
biggest hit.
hurt
Yeah,
myself today.
yeah, yes,
And fucking Trent Reznor was like, oh my God, this is
yeah,
fucking amazing.
yeah.
Now you can do all sorts of AI collabs.
Oh yeah. Now it's like that's the thing I don't like about AI. It's gonna take the fucking art out of the art. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's
If you're
horrible.
doing Hank Williams Senior doing Straight Outta Compton, something's wrong. Something's very
One of my
wrong.
favorite bands of all time is Faith No More, and the singer Mike Patton. He's my favorite singer, rock singer of all time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
He was doing an interview back in like '92, and the interviewer asked him, "What do you think is the future of music?" He's like eating this fucking huge sandwich while he's doing the interview. You can hear him chewing. He's like, I think um, computers computers are going to be the future of music. And he's like, I'm okay with that because most of the people that make music now are fucking assholes. So let the
Oh, wow.
computers do the work. And that was early 90s, man.
I think though that I've heard some, and we got podcast buddies that have used AI for some music on their shows or whatever, but dude, it still cannot replicate like the I guess the authenticness, if that's a word,
Yeah, authenticity.
of
Yeah.
authenticity. There you go. It can't create the authenticity that it still doesn't have that authenticity to it. You can tell. I can detect that kind of music when it's being played. Like it's good, but it's not all quite there. It doesn't have the flair of the I don't know.
It's missing the soul.
Yeah, it's missing the
soul.
soul. There you go.
Yeah.
It's missing the soul.
Yeah. It's just a body.
It sounds completely synthetic
Mhm.
and not predictable, but yeah, there's a little bit of predictability to it, but there's predictability in all kinds of music.
When was the last time you guys got emotional or had some kind of a actual like goosebumps or something? When was the last time you had
For
like
music, I do all the time
for a
still.
song? Yeah, like what was the last song that you heard that was just like, whoa, this is like hitting me hard?
Like new music, or are you talking about any
Yeah.
music?
Or just what was the latest thing that hit you?
I'll tell you one song that I never heard before until recently. It's called Metal, and the artist is Gary Newman. And Gary Newman did the song Cars.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I
Here
love
in
Gary
America.
Newman.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
the same album, I never dove into his catalog really, but
He's
on
the
that
same dude
same
that did the
album,
music for Toy Story, right?
no, that's Randy Newman.
Randy Newman. Okay, I'm sorry.
Gary Newman did Here in My Car. I feel
Okay.
safest of all. Yeah, so he was like
that.
that album came out in 1979, the year I was born. I never really listened to it, and the album's called The Pleasure Principle.
Mm-hmm.
But he had this androgynous kind of android look to him, and he was doing like very robotic kind of synthesizer music. But the song Metal that he did really hit me, and it's like, holy shit, this guy wrote that in 1979 and is talking about like how he's a robot and he wants everybody else to be normal like him.
Yeah.
That's like what the lyrics are like.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool, man. But the song is so fucking catchy too. And
Yeah,
I've been listening to it like nonstop.
dude, now that you say that, dude, I've been on a big Huey Lewis in the News kick. I think Huey Lewis is fantastic.
He's
And
the
another
shit.
one, another one that I'm just so blown away by. And I was just reading the lyrics while it was playing. You know how if you listen to a song on Spotify and you look at your phone, it'll play the lyrics, to some of these songs. And "Spirits in the Material World" from The Police,
Oh,
dude, and the
we
drum.
are spirits in the material
Yo,
world.
dude,
Our spirits.
yes,
Amazing.
dude. And if you listen to those lyrics, bro, it's like he traveled to the future to write that song and then went back to whenever they recorded it. And
Yeah.
I don't know what year that
He
song
was
came out.
always into spirituality, though. Him and his wife Trudy, and they're
Yeah,
also
yeah.
into tantric sex too, which is hilarious.
But you asked me what song recently made me cry, man. I watched a documentary about Luther Vandross, and dude, I forgot how good Luther was, and I don't care what his sexual preference was. The guy was a genius. He was truly talented and truly
Wait, was he
gifted.
gay?
Yeah, man.
Shut up,
I
man.
didn't know
He's
that
a
either.
He
closet.
was
Yeah,
bagging.
dude.
Tons of pussy.
Dude,
Shut
you
up.
got to watch the recent documentary I made about him. But he wasn't comfortable with coming out, man, because he thought, the majority of his fans were of the female gender, and he thought,
Oh,
and
I
I
thought he
think
was a
he was,
skinny Barry White.
yeah, dude. But Luther was the shit. But when he remade, I can't remember her name now, but he remade that song, "House Is Not a Home," bruh. When I listened to him sing that song, dude, yeah, man, a tear welled up in my eye. That track is off the hook, brother.
My answer is a little bit funny. I have a bunch of different songs. I have a lot of emotional attachments to songs, but there's one song that I really love, and then I have a cool story that goes with it. Predator is one of my favorite movies ever.
Awesome.
And when they're in that chopper, gonna get dropped in the jungle, and they're playing Long Tall Sally
Oh,
by Little
right,
Richard,
right.
dude, that gives me the chills every time.
Yep.
And guess what happened to me? I'm walking through Disney World with my wife, and we're having just it's Disney World, right? You're having a great time. All of a sudden, surprise concert, Little Richard comes on stage, and we're just walking by.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the fuck? That's Little Richard. He's on stage, and nobody's sitting down. It was just like he just came out and started playing, and I quickly like went down and sat down, and he starts playing Long Tall Sally for me in Disney World, dude.
That's amazing.
And ever since then, it's one of my favorite songs of all time, and it's like, holy shit, this is so crazy that this is actually happening to me. And then I love watching Predator. I should probably watch Predator 2 or 3 times every year. That's how much I love that movie. But that song is
It's a great
sick.
movie.
And that's a sick song, Long Tall Sally.
Yeah.
There's a video out there that I just sent to my buddy, and it's scenes from Predator, but they use the sounds from Contra on NES.
Oh,
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Contra ripped off Predator, right? With
Oh,
the
absolutely.
cover art.
They did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
And like you see Arnold get hit, and it makes the sound of when you die in Contra, like hilarious.
Sick game, man. Such a good game. Man, we really did have the best generation, best childhood ever.
We did, man. I miss
Try
it.
to explain it to my kids.
But the thing is about it, like I have this retro console now, and it's got like over 60,000 games on it.
Oh wow.
And
are the graphics actually totally legit in the gameplay? Because I've seen them advertise those.
Dude, the one I got is fucking phenomenal.
Oh, send us
I just
link.
wish I could use an old controller for it,
Yeah.
Because they give you like these two cheesy, look like they're gonna fall apart at any second PlayStation controllers.
Yeah.
Then you got to put 2 AAA batteries into it.
Yeah. Is it like a thumb drive you stick in your TV or something?
It's a little box you get, and then you hook it up. You hook it up HDMI, and you plug it in, and then you put the USB stick into it, and that holds all the games on it.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Actually played. I hooked up my Nintendo, my OG NES, before the Mike Tyson fight, and I put in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I got it just the right way, blew on the cartridge, got it to work, and man, I could not. I got to Super Macho Man, and I couldn't beat him, and then I just rage quit. I was pissed. I didn't even get to Mike Tyson, but
I don't think I could ever beat Super Macho Man either, or Sandman, even for that matter.
Yeah, the
Sandman was tough.
The second bald bull, the first one, he's not too bad, but when you fight him a second time, bro,
he's nasty. Yeah, he's nasty. Mr. Sandman's scary too, though. He's brutal.
Dude, the thing about that game, man, they did so much with the technology they had it back then. Like when you hit the guy and his eyebrows are going like,
yeah, yeah. It's
that was
actually
probably
an
my
adventure
favorite
game, right?
Dude, so
What's that?
do you have the actual Mike Tyson's Punch Out, or do you just have Punch Out? Because they
There's
changed
both.
the character.
There's both.
Oh, I got Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Dude, that's worth money, bro, and
That's
especially
my
if you have the
OG
cover
cartridge
for
from
it,
'89.
Yeah, that's worth some money, dude.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Trying to get it to work half the time. It's not easy, but
There's a lot of games that I used to have on different systems, and I got rid of them back then when I was younger. And I look at it now, and I'm like, "Fuck my life."
Yeah.
There's
a lot of
one
toys
game that I
used to
had that
have.
was worth $800.
Oh wow.
Oh,
I'm
Crazy.
just like, I had Transformers, I had He-Man, I had G.I. Joe. If I could, I would
Yeah.
have them all on shelves right now. That's how much I love those toys.
for
Dude,
sure, man.
I had the whole Castle Grayskull with the Battle Cat, Cringer, like
Right?
all the characters. I had the one where Man of Many Faces, and you could click the little button behind his back, and his face would
Oh
spin.
yeah, spins. Yeah.
Oh man, I had
I
all that
had
shit and I gave
battle.
it to my
What was
nephew.
it? Battle damage Skeletor.
Me
Where
too.
Oh
you
yeah,
press in on his chest and it gets scarred, and then you
Yeah,
roll it
yeah,
back.
yeah.
sick.
That was the best Skeletor.
Hmm.
I didn't even want the original. I had that one and I loved him. It was just because you could like swing back because they had the punching, right? Like
Yeah,
GI Joe
yeah,
had
yeah.
that shit
Hmm.
too with the what do they call that? It's not. It's like it's a thing, isn't it? When you like wind them
Oh
back
yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah. They
elastics and
twist. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Kung
Or
Fu
when I had
grip
like
and
the superpowers, like Justice League action figures, and the Flash, he presses his arms in, and his legs go like that.
dude, I had that
Hmm.
too. Yes. I love that shit. You squeeze his arms and his legs. Oh
The other
man.
one that
The imagination that you would use too when you're playing with
yeah,
those toys was unbelievable. Like I used to picture like huge landscapes in my basement and set them up wherever, like there was a
yes,
mountain up there, on
Yeah.
this
yeah,
shelf is this mountain, and down here is the enemy base, and it's like there's nothing there except carpet and the shelf, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
You
It
had this
doesn't
in your
matter.
mind.
Yeah.
It was
Dude,
amazing.
that's why still to this day one of the most underrated toys are just the little plastic army men, because I remember doing that, dude. You get the
Yeah.
brown ones and the green ones, and then you get like a big giant blanket and you throw a pillow in the middle and it's the mountain and they're fighting over it, and yes, dude, and you're just totally using your imagination. Like kids
Hmm.
nowadays, like they don't really play with toys like that. Like their
No,
imagination is just whatever image they're being shown on a screen, I think that kids are growing up way too fast nowadays, man. Like,
it seems that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
we were pretty nerdy at like 12 years old, dressing in
yes,
army pants with walkie-talkies and bicycles, and we weren't worried about girls and
Dude,
I
it
don't
was
know.
like
At
it
12, I
was
was
like
starting
living
to
the
get.
Goonies, man.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to be a Goonie.
who didn't, bro? Dude. Everybody wanted to have a summer vacation where they went on an adventure like that with their boys. You know?
Can we all agree that we had no idea what the innuendo of One-Eyed Willie meant back then?
Uh, you know what? Now I know. That's crazy. I never thought about it.
You
Yeah.
never thought about it? It
Never
hit
thought
me.
about
It
it.
hit me hard, like maybe like 20 years ago, and I was like, "Holy shit, One-Eyed Willie, really, dude?"
You
Right.
perverts. You
And then you
perverts.
Right.
learn about Richard Donner and how I think he was kind of maybe a little bit of a pedo.
Oof.
Which one's Donner?
Yeah, well, he was the director of Goonies and
Oh, okay.
Superman with Christopher Reeve.
Mm.
But
Well, if
well,
you're a
this Corey,
pedophile,
Corey,
you're gonna make movies with kids in it, right?
I would imagine. I mean, Corey Feldman is the big whistleblower of Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Hmm.
he was Mouth in the Goonies, right? So
Right, yeah.
he would have something to say about that. But I don't think he'd ever really name dropped anybody. He just
Mm.
kind of said this is what's going on, but he never
Well,
really name dropped anyone. I think
he
if he
did say
did, he would be fucking dead.
he did
Hmm.
say that he was sodomized by Charlie Sheen.
What,
Oh
really?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Charlie
Yeah,
Sheen was
no,
pretty
Tiger's
it's
funny in
Blood.
Hot Shots, though.
Oh fuck, those were
I
hilarious.
was a fan of the Major League movies.
Yeah.
Those were good
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did
You
he
know who
have to
just
do
passed
that?
away today was today, and I think yesterday and today there was two deaths.
No way. I haven't heard.
David Lynch
Who's
passed
that?
away. He was a director of like Twin Peaks and shit like that.
Oh shoot. Okay.
He was 78, and then we had Bob Uecker died.
Oh, Bob Uecker died. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
he
the
must
yeah,
have been super
baseball.
old, hey?
yeah. He was
Bob
90.
Bob Uecker was the guy that was the announcer on Major
Who's the
League, right?
announcer? Yeah, just
Yes,
a
I
bit
believe so.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, January 16th. So he was born in 1934, so he was 90, 91.
He's 90. Yeah, that's what reminded me, Raul, was when he talked about Major League.
Was
Wow.
Bob
Bob
Uecker?
Uecker.
Bob Uecker was the dad on Mr. Belvedere, right?
I don't know.
I believe so. Mr. Belvedere.
Fuck, I don't remember that one.
And I think he was actually a professional baseball player too, or a minor league baseball player.
Before he was a commentator, right?
Yeah.
He was the dad on Mr. Belvedere. So for
He
all of
was.
you out
Nice,
there, I
nice.
have a lot of useless knowledge up here.
Yeah,
from
and
the
he was a
80s.
professional baseball catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, I thought that was Tony Danza.
Tony Danza was a professional ball player
He always
too.
talked about how he played baseball. Remember on Who's the Boss? He he wanted to be a baseball player, right? And then
Yeah,
he
I know Al
became
Bundy
the
was a good
housekeeper.
quarterback. Al Bundy was a good quarterback. 6
And
touchdown game.
now he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. What can't Al Bundy do?
Yeah.
I loved how
That's
this podcast started off as like semi-serious, and now we're going off on like tangents and nostalgia and shit. I love that.
uh
I thought it was fascinating when you were talking. We got away from the cars, but I thought the cars was actually a very interesting thing because I don't know if I would trust a world where people were flying cars. I mean, people can barely
mhm,
drive.
mhm.
But I do like
Well,
the
in
idea
our
of like
timeline,
hoverboards almost
in our
in
timeline, it
cars.
would be self-driving,
Mm,
Yeah.
there you go.
and we didn't think about that back then. We just thought, oh, there's flying cars. People are driving them. That'd be fucking terrifying. But
Mhm.
I
if it
like
was
the
all
idea of
Tesla
hover
made,
cars. Yeah.
yeah,
The
like
idea
in
of what?
Blade Runner.
Hover cars would be great because then you don't have to worry about ice or anything
Yes.
on the road. You're just going, and I guess it's magnetism, or I'd have to sit and think with how I'm going to invent this hoverboard, like from Back to the Future, right?
Mhm.
How that shit works.
Just don't
But
tell anybody, or you'll get offed.
exactly, man. Nobody
Uh,
talks about the airships. None of us talk about the
Yeah.
airships enough.
Yeah.
The Hindenburg crashes. We got to get rid of this shit. Now we're going to go to planes. One plane crashes. We don't get rid of airplanes.
Yes, and I tripped out when I recently found out that in those Zeppelins that I always thought the big fat, inflated part was just like where they had the helium or whatever gas that they were using to go up into the
no, it was like a
atmosphere.
huge
And
fucking
the people were
yeah.
just in the little container at the bottom, but they said that there was actually people on the inside of the
hmm
big part of it. And I was like, "What?" Like imagine the amount of people that you could transport, dude. Like
I was
Yeah.
playing the
the
other
Cabbage
day.
Patch Babies is a cool conspiracy too.
Yes, the other day I was playing Wolfenstein Youngblood, and it's the two twin daughters of the main character of Wolfenstein,
Oh,
and it
really?
takes place in like I think it's 1980, and it's if the Nazis won the war.
Oh,
So
interesting.
America is occupied by the Nazis. And
Mm,
so they are Nazi hunters, obviously, right? So the first mission, you got to go up on a Zeppelin, and it's huge. There's like a fucking casino in it, and there's a restaurant, a bar, all this stuff, living quarters, everything. And you got to infiltrate the Zeppelin and take down the General Winkler. His name is. He's a German guy, Nazi. And it's funny too because once you like take him out, he's got like camo, like body camo, and
mhm.
he appears and like shoots lasers at you. But once you defeat him, he's like hanging off the wing, and your sister's like, shoot him into the fucking engine, and you shoot him, and he goes into the engine. He's like, right, and it just takes down the whole Zeppelin, and you jump off, right?
Spoiler alert.
That's sick.
That's just the first mission, man.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the final boss. Oh, wow, that's crazy. I think that's crazy that they think that Hitler would go and take over America, where I would picture kind of a new Roman Empire
Right.
where the Germans would just take all of Europe and basically the good part of Russia.
Mhm.
Well, you could do
Well,
anything with creativity, right? You could
Sure.
like say, oh, what if this happened? You know?
Take Canada while you're at it. We're easy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Why
well, I
not?
think I think that uh I think that's coming, the Amero. I think
Oh, the
the
Amero. That was like so long ago when we heard about that.
yeah, and I
Like
think
years ago,
I
before
think
Obama, I think.
I think we're gonna see that shit in our lifetime. And the other one that just started even getting hit more in the news than Canada is now Greenland too. Did you guys hear Greenland is
As a part of
supposedly
it.
entertaining? Trump wants to make Greenland part of America as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
so he would have to take that from, I think Denmark
yeah,
owns
yep,
Greenland. I think
hmm
that would be a pretty easy fight too.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
probably.
Danish aren't known for their uh, war savviness.
But think about all these places, mineral rich places, and then he's aligning himself with all these big tech people. And if they really want a technocracy that all these conspiracy theorists are talking about, like he sure is going after all the places that are mineral rich where they need all these resources to build all these smart cities.
I can't wait for Trump to go more for Space Force. And then we can really start roasting him on that. Because isn't he the Space Force daddy?
He is, yeah.
Yep.
That's
You know,
such
but at
bullshit.
the same time, I know a lot of conspiracy theorists. Most conspiracy theorists hate Trump, but there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of good coming out of this that I think is going to happen too. Like I don't think that God's going to allow it to be all bad. I think God's going to use the enemy to accomplish some good things too along the way. And I just hope for a period of prosperity where we can get ahead
Well,
because we've fallen
that's
so.
supposed to happen,
Yeah,
Raul.
yeah, exactly.
Before everything, before the big shit show, it's
Yeah,
supposed to be a period of peace.
yeah.
And then
God.
and the Bible says when they say peace and security, watch out.
So you mean the last
You
5
know?
years wasn't a shit show? I'm already exhausted.
I know.
No, it's supposed to get better before it gets way better before it gets really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, good. We'll be ready. Me and Raul will be in the wheelchairs, pulling up to Firmamental headquarters. Let's do this shit.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before you want to wrap up or not? Or are you guys still good to go? Or
I don't know, man. I've had a great time tonight, man. We kind of just
me
jumped
too.
around, but that's the way we like to do it
I knew it
anyways.
was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna be like this. You know.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I thought about, is there something specifically weighing on my heart that I want to talk about? And, I think conspiracy theorists right now are hitting the California thing pretty hard and the weather modification stuff pretty hard. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about, man, especially dude, Trump's taking office in Monday. I mean, we could go off on all kinds of things, but
Shit,
honestly,
dude.
man, I just wanted to get to know you and hang out and have a good time. And I think
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure. Yeah.
that was mission accomplished. And yeah,
That's what
dude.
I like to do. I like to call this show like a plate because my little blurb is where crazy feels like home, right?
Mhm.
Where people who are considered not normal
Right.
can come and converse and just have like a nice, cool, easy breezy conversation, and hopefully a normie will hear it and be like, "Fuck, maybe these guys are onto something," you know?
Yeah.
I actually think you're crazy if you're not a conspiracy theorist.
That's what I'm saying. If
When I
you're
walk
not
around-
a conspiracy theorist now, you're
Right.
fucked.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
walk around looking at
Your
normies. I'm
oil
like,
is not filling your lamp, man.
right.
Yeah.
What plane are you on, you glober?
Ooh.
Dude, and I'm a big SpongeBob fan, and I don't know if you guys ever watch SpongeBob, but the episode where have you ever seen the episode where he turns normal and loses all his spots?
Oh.
Dude, like that's the wackest version. He gets so normal he freaks out Squidward in the episode, and Squidward has to force him back to being his old silly self. Like we need to get everybody to bring their spots back, man. It's okay to be normal. It's
Yeah.
okay to be crazy. And I don't even care what people think about me anymore. Like at least with
Well,
the crazy
yeah.
conspiracy stuff. Like go ahead, because we're gonna be rocking the "I told you so" t-shirts and hats.
That was one of my greatest fears I had to overcome when I started this podcast was using my voice, like speaking and telling people what I like, sharing the knowledge that I've had over the years, right? Without sounding like I'm crazy, but it's like, now I don't fucking care.
Right.
If you want to hear how crazy I really am, come on, like listen to the show,
Well, my biggest thing is I don't script too much. You'll know if I'm
I
reading
don't at all.
something.
I never take notes for my show, dude.
Yeah, like you'll know if I pre-write something. I'm an okay writer. I like it when I write, but I actually don't mind sounding like a retard, trying to get these ideas out, and maybe that is
Sure.
a little bit painful for the audience, but I just want everybody to know that we're very real, and we aren't
Genuine,
married.
yeah.
We're not married to. I mean, once you realize that you're a retard for believing in the globe, what aren't you a
Even
retard
better.
for believing in the past? Like you're
Sure.
your humble level goes to DEFCON 5, and yeah, you know what? I can be wrong about everything, and I can apologize, or I can say, yeah, you're right about that, or it doesn't matter anymore, or whatever you believe, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I could care less what other people believe. I think that's a superpower.
I've never claimed to be a harbinger of truth. I'm just sharing what I know with the world. That's all.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly the way we operate over here. Like we're okay to eat a slice of humble pie. I'm perfect. I hope on a lot of the stuff that we've talked about, I have to eat a slice of humble pie because, like you said, sometimes it can get pretty dark. But I don't want to. We don't want to black pill people anymore. Like if we're not talking about how we win, then we're just wasting time. Because ultimately, if you just think everything's doom and gloom, like that's what's going to manifest itself, right? It's
That's
like,
one thing I'm always about is that I always tell people, always keep your fucking hope afloat, man.
mhm.
Because all the shit we see day to day, especially in the mainstream, we're fucked, right?
Yeah.
But
The thing that's funny about reality is that we are the guys in the movies that people cheer for, and in reality, the normies are the ones telling us that we're the bad guys,
right,
right? We are the Red Dawn crew. We're the Wolverines that are like, fuck this, man. Look what's going on. Like,
I love it.
and everybody watching the movie is like, these are the good guys. Like, look at these few guys that are just trying to stop the shit from hitting the fan. Like, we got to cheer for them. And then you go into the real world. It's like, you guys are fucking crazy, man. We can't get on board with you. We got to trust this government shit. Isn't that insane?
Avenge me, boys! Avenge me! I love it. Fucking love that movie.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yeah,
Guys,
they shot that movie in my family's hometown in northern New Mexico. Everybody thinks that it was Calumet, Colorado, but that movie was
the
actually
original
filmed.
one?
Yeah, the original Red Dawn was actually
Nice.
filmed in the
Sick.
Sagro de Cristo Mountains of New Mexico, and the little town that they're in isn't Calumet, Colorado. It's Las Vegas, New Mexico. And in the beginning scene of that movie, when they span across the park with the library, they put a fake statue of, I believe it was Teddy Roosevelt. That statue's not really there. They just put it for the movie. But when it spans across that park, you actually see my dad's house in that
cool.
No
first scene of the movie.
shit.
And my brother, older Daryl, who recently passed away, is in the scene. When they're in the concentration camp and he runs up to the fence to talk to his dad, and he's
That's the
crying to his
Avenge Me
dad, and
Boys
he's telling
scene,
you gotta man up. My brother's one of the hobos warming his hands in the fire in that car
No
hood.
shit.
Yes, dude.
That's awesome.
And that's how Patrick Swayze bought his ranch in Las Vegas, New Mexico, in the mountains over there in the Gallinas Canyon. He fell in love with that area when they were filming that movie, and he bought that ranch.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Then my brother
That's
years
awesome.
later wired his security lights on his ranch, and we got to meet him, dude. He's a cool dude.
Rest in peace, man.
Yep.
Fuck, that sucked when we lost him, man.
Yeah,
He seemed like a genuine good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He said, "Don't call me Patrick, call me Buddy. I'm just a regular guy, just like you." Yeah, he was a cool
It's the
dude.
same thing with another celebrity that I really like is Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Like totally fucking genuine.
Yeah, there's some cool
and killer
ones.
movies too, man. The Thing. Oh man.
Dude, Big Trouble in Little China. Come on, man.
Oh, Big Trouble in Little China. That's the bomb. I just watched that with my kids. They looked at me like I was retarded. I'm like,
There's so many
like
people
the best
that
movie
say
ever.
Tombstone,
they've never
dude.
seen
Tombstone.
that.
Tombstone and the
Tombstone,
Hateful
yeah.
Eight. Like, yeah, come on.
Even Executive Decision. He was pretty good in that. That's a pretty sick movie.
You know, I think I told somebody a story about that on my podcast where we all thought that Executive Decision was supposed to be in the new Steven Seagal movie, but then he ended up dying in the first 5 minutes.
Which was
and then
awesome.
it became a Kurt Russell movie.
Yeah.
And I was like,
awesome.
I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah. Oh, it was good.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's awesome. He was he's still alive, right? He better not be gone.
Yeah.
yet.
Yes, he's still here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, right, yeah. The second
He's
one, right?
Star-Lord's
He's the dad.
father. Yeah,
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Those movies are actually pretty cool. Like, yeah, I have a hard time watching space movies, but I gotta admit there are some of them that are
They're
pretty
still
goofy.
entertaining.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of tonight was talking about our childhoods because I was picturing my favorite GI Joes in the yard and setting up the battles. Like, we were talking
I
about
love
in the
it.
basement. I'm like, man, that just brought me back. And I had these. Do you guys remember like the swamp GI Joes that would change color in the sun, like Zartan
Yes.
and the twins?
Yeah,
Like,
the Dreadnoughts.
yeah, they were the best. And I would,
Zartan and Zartana.
yeah, dude, we had
And
the best
then-
childhood ever.
Remember
we had
Tomax and Zaymot, the twins?
Yeah, the twins. Yeah, one had the scar. Oh man,
Fucking amazing.
Dude, my
Yes.
favorite ones were the rubber WWF wrestling
Yeah.
figures, and
Oh
you
yeah,
get the
You
ring,
get the big
you know,
ring. Oh,
Yeah,
and
dude.
have a Royal Rumble with your friends, and you were always smacking each other's fingers with them, and ow, that hurt.
I had Coco Beware.
Oh yeah, the cocoa butt.
The
Yeah,
hacksaw Jim Duggan with the 2x4.
sick. Ultimate Warrior, totally overrated. I was never Ultimate Warrior fan.
I loved Warrior, man.
He
Oh,
wasn't
man.
badass. His ring entrance was epic.
Go
He
go
was-
go.
He was crazy though, man. He was
Yeah.
crazy. The cocaine hit hard.
Mhm.
The hell of a drug.
Yeah,
I'm a
he
Macho
passed away
Man guy.
recently too. I think
Oh, did he really?
Warrior. Yeah,
I thought DDP
forget
was
his name,
helping
Jim
him.
Something. No, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, DDP's an awesome dude, man. He's pulled a lot of guys out of the dark side, man. He's done a
Yep,
lot of good
yep.
work. Yeah.
Oh wow, he died 10 years ago already in Scottsdale,
Jeez.
Arizona, Raul.
Wow.
Oh shit.
April 8th, 2014.
Oh man, 3 days after my birthday.
Dude, I didn't realize he was dead. That's crazy.
You heard it
Wrestlers,
here
man.
first on the Red Pill Cartel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Firmamental. You
Derek
guys,
Derek Stitt had a nasty Chris Benoit joke because Benoit is Canadian, right?
hmm
And he
What-
made like some kind of Father's Day card with Chris Benoit, and he sent it to me. I'm like, you fucker, too soon.
Oh my lord.
It was so bad.
that's crazy.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
Stitt's crazy, dude.
he
Shout
knew.
out
He
to
knows
that
I'm
dude.
Canadian, so
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Do you guys want to swap cast this? I'll send you the audio or the video too.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, we could throw one in the tank, dude, because I don't even think we haven't even recorded one this week on our own. We've been guests on a few shows, so
That'd be cool, man. For sure.
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. Cross pollinating, and you
Yeah,
can
I'm
come on our
down.
show anytime.
yeah, dude,
Yeah,
we
cool,
want to
man.
bring you back on ours.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, but send this out to your guys too, to your audience as well. But where can my audience find you guys if they tuned in for this long?
So you better have tuned in for this long because we're pretty
Right?
hilariously awesome. Doesn't have to be about conspiracies. It can be about 80s toys. And you can find us
Fuck
at the firmamentalpodcast.com. And you can email us firmamentalpodcast@gmail.com. We got a speak pipe. We got a sick T-Public shop with some pretty cool truther gear on there. Only built for truthers. The Raekwon inspired album cover shirt, probably my favorite. Me and Raul rocking it. I'm not wearing it tonight, but I love
I
that.
know I need to wear that one. Yeah. No, yeah, go check out the website. It'll link you up with
Link
whatever.
into everything. Yeah.
Whatever.
That's the
podcasting
best, man.
platform you
Like I have like a
use.
link tree that I use. I shoot that out there and it's like one stop, right? So
Mhm.
fuck all like 10,
Eh.
30 fucking different links. I got this. No, put it on the website. Okay, we're good.
Done.
We are on Instagram, Super Shadow Band. I'm actually fasting from social media. I don't know if you saw one of my latest posts. So like I haven't been on there in a while. I've been
Okay.
avoiding it. So it's gonna be crazy when I turn it back on. There'll probably be a ton of messages, but you can find us Firmamental 5 on Instagram. Like I said, man, we're on like our 4th or 5th community guidelines restrictions.
So
So
stupid, dude.
I know, man. It's like, yeah, we haven't grown at all too. I've been at like 3,700 followers for like 6 months now. So
I was thinking
Yeah.
about the irony of, NASA can just post anything and it's
mhm.
God's honest truth. Nothing gets fact checked. It could be, planet Xenon asteroid will hit Earth in 53 years. No fact check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. No big deal. Raul posts a picture of some guy wearing a Firmamental t-shirt, and right away he's a hater of reality.
Yeah. Yeah, the last one that they hit me with where they said, "Oh, you violated, your 3rd or 4th whatever violation it was, 90-day restriction." It was because a lady was talking about the WEF and I reposted her video. And she didn't even say anything except state the facts of what they were talking about at the WEF.
Hmm.
Right.
And she played the audio of them saying it themselves. And it's like, this has been checked by independent fact checkers and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, yeah,
Get
they're
off
abs.
the fucking
Yeah, they're,
dildo, dude. Pull the butt
Yeah,
plug out.
yeah. So I don't know. Let's see. Supposedly, social media is going to become the Wild West again, but I doubt it.
No, they don't need fact checkers because they're going to use AI and keyword
Yeah.
and shadow banning. Like they really all they have to do is shadow ban with algorithms and things like that. They the fact checkers
did you know
are
that
ridiculous.
Mark Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan and now he's the good guy again?
Right?
Yeah.
He's got
I
like
was
a little,
like,
he's got a little
this
fro
curly-haired
and...
fucking Jew is the good guy now?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's this
Joe's
meme.
crazy. He was like, dude, your neck is like, oh yeah. And they're talking about fucking being MMA fighters. And I'm like,
Oh God.
Fuck off.
gay. What are you guys sucking? Oh, he had a pee break. Joe, I was listening to the show and Joe was like, I got pissed really bad. Guaranteed those guys sucked each other's dicks when that pause happened.
Wouldn't you to get on that yacht? Come on, man.
Right.
Ain't no
Dude,
party like a Zuckerberg party.
So Joe Rogan was sitting down with Mel Gibson the other day. He was wearing a NASA shirt. You know, he fucking jock rides Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh,
but
hard.
I saw this meme and I pulled it up here, and it's Rogan chilling with Mark Zuckerberg. And the meme reads, Joe Rogan
You
podcast,
posted that, right?
Yeah. Joe Rogan
saw that.
podcast has become a sort of absolution booth where elites undergo 3 hours of ritualistic bro talk before being born again as the common man.
Right.
Dude, that's it right there. Like, and I think Joe Rogan, and I'm not for calling people shills and stuff, but there is controlled opposition. When you make it to that level and you're making that much money, you're on a leash and they tell you what you can and can't do. You still get a lot of truth though, like Alex Jones, he's given us a shit ton of truth, but he never really points to the true culprit. A lot of these guys, they give us a lot of truth. It's okay to listen to mainstream news because you're getting some truth. You just got to use the lens of discernment to figure out what's good to digest and spit out what's not. It's like everything else. Dude, even listening to the shills, you still get a lot of good information.
The controlled opposition and the shills are the ones that I pray for, the enemies that I pray for.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because there's still, like, even Sean Ryan, ex-Navy SEAL, he probably fucking fucked kids back in the fucking, when he was doing his shit. I fucking guarantee it, man. Do you know who Sean Ryan is?
I've heard, I know the name, I'm familiar with.
Another controlled op, obviously, dude. Anytime anybody tells me to go watch something, I'm like, yeah, I might. I just want my intuition, my Holy Spirit to tell me what's true and what's not.
Mm-hmm. I still haven't watched the Obama movie.
Which one?
The Day That Never Comes or whatever the hell is it?
They Left Us?
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's fun. It's a really good movie.
For conspiracy-wise, or I heard it was shitty. Interesting.
It's a good movie. And you'll find some stuff in there for sure.
Right,
oh yeah, there's Easter eggs for sure, man. Just like there's Easter eggs. I saw it with the shirts that they're wearing. Right, the boy has a NASA shirt, and then the little girl has an Obey shirt, and they're standing next to each other. Like,
what business do the Obamas have producing movies?
That's what I'm wondering.
Honestly, like, what business? Why aren't they retired? Like, fuck off. You were the president for 8 years. Fuck off. Like, what are you making?
And then you got Trump fucking sitting next to Obama, chatting it up at Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Mike wasn't there. I didn't see Mike.
I didn't see Mike either. No.
Interesting.
Funniest conspiracy of all time.
He's probably jerking off in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Big Mike.
Funniest conspiracy of all time. The Big Mike conspiracy.
It's so funny, but it's so true.
It's
also
it's
the Justin Castro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like so obvious, but like a normie would be like, "You're crazy for thinking that." Really?
So you saw Castro sitting behind Justin Trudeau at Pierre Trudeau's funeral, right? Like Castro actually left Cuba and flew to Canada to be at that funeral.
Yeah.
And sat behind Justin and had his arm, like his hand on his shoulder.
Sure.
Watch the funeral. It's crazy. I didn't believe it until I saw it. I'm like, there's no way Castro risked his life to go to fucking Canada where the CIA could easily murder him,
Well, Margaret Trudeau probably convinced him to go because she was fucking him at the time, right? So
Right. She's pretty saucy.
She was in Playgirl, I think. Or Playboy?
Playboy, yeah.
Like Playgirl.
Pierre Trudeau was definitely not in Playgirl. That's one of the ugliest motherfuckers I ever seen.
He looked like Mr. Burns, dude.
Oh yeah, he was an uglier version of Mr. Burns. Oh my god. Raul, you got to
Guys,
Google Pierre Trudeau. That's the ugliest
Yeah.
dude.
I'm gonna end it here now, but I thank you guys so much for coming on. This was fucking awesome. I'll get on your show too, but yeah, feel free to release this when I send it to you. And yeah, much love. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Definitely, man. Thank you. Have a good night, my brother.
You too. God bless you guys.
All right.
Later.
You too as well.